Christmas anymore now. Goosebumps. I can feel my face when I love it. Lemon Pepper, EP4, take 2. Lego!
Hi there, and welcome to Lemon Pepper.
You're like, oh, Lemon Pepper today. No, but I mean natural. Welcome to Lemon Pepper, boys and girls. Good to have you back. Good to be back in front of you again.
Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank you. So today, I think that food is affecting our brains, bro. We had so much omega-3 now. Omega-3s, and my goosies is still on. It's getting hot in this
I've got
goosies.
my pluckies on.
Oh, Havanas. Havana.
Oh, Camila Cabells.
Yo, bro, that was a good,
She's a good artist.
yeah, that debut was good though. It's one of the best debuts albums ever.
Sometimes I feel like debuts are okay, but if you make a debut, it's even better. Na.
So, back in the sun, got to catch for myself a lemon and a little pepper. You're gonna either get seriously quiet for us or you're gonna be happy that we're back in the
We're back.
So, yeah, welcome to this week's episode, this EP. Larry is here, Hein is here.
But it felt like more.
Larry's probably at one point gonna flex like this again, just watch him and tell me. Comment 1 if he does it, comment 2 if he does not do it.
It's natural.
But it's a natural movement for him, okay? Like progress. Yeah, so, kicking off. Larry, how have you been this week?
I don't even know. I can't remember really. This week has been a blur. Le blur.
Were you at home on Monday?
Yeah, I was off Monday. We had a public holiday on Friday last week, and then I took Monday off, and we had a public holiday again on Tuesday. So I only worked 3 days this week, but those 3 days felt like 7 days.
That is usually a thing in South Africa when there's public holiday. So, same feeling, yeah, I was also off on Monday and we had a massive weekend behind my back where I had like a wedding from Thursday night up until Tuesday afternoon.
You had a massive weekend behind your back.
Yes. I didn't prepare because this is natural class, remember? So, we make mistakes when we talk.
Oh, is that a mistake?
Yeah.
So, this week is a very exciting week.
Big week for me. I'm finally moving out to the house, out to the nest
We
under.
just all just pause. Give this man a round of applause. Pause, round of applause. Pause and round of applause.
Pause.
Round of applause. Pause, round of applause. Yo, kakversin.
So yeah, moving out to the nest under the wings, spreading my own little wings. I'm not sitting there like a bird at home and go, Mama, you drop me a little worm in my mouth. No,
Oh,
out of there.
did that actually happen?
That's what happens in nature. Don't watch National Geographic.
But did you?
No, that's
Oh.
a figure of speech. Why
Okay.
are you explaining the simple stuff in life now?
But you, okay. So lemon pepper, you said.
Okay. I just think you wanna go further here. So, yeah, we're gonna go. We're going through this whole phase of Larry moved last year. Late last year? Early last year?
Mid last year.
He made a lot of movements in his life, I think a lot of positive movements as well. Around the time you switched jobs as well.
Yeah, like a few months after that.
Was it before?
After.
Okay. But it was in the process at least when you were still working with me. So, yeah, he moved out. You see, when you have positive people around, we spoke about this last week guys in EP3. Positive people influences you and you start doing positive things in your life as well. So, the move has been coming, it's been a thing, and it's just everything's kind of fell in place. So, luckily, Big Bro was there. Obviously, he went through the whole thing, advice and all those things. And I must say, I don't know what your feelings were at the time.
I'm nodding a lot though.
Yeah,
I need to
so
stop.
Noddy.
So not once.
Yeah, so he's a different age group from me. Obviously, we spoke about this already, but in terms of the move, making that conscious decision, and also the actions, because I think we spoke about this where we don't just want to speak on our plans and our goals, and we actually want to jump in and do it, get the hands dirty. So I think we're going to go through a little small phase of the end goals, obviously, don't forget why you're moving and why that's the important part. And also the feelings and excitement and the stresses around the whole space of moving out and getting your admin in order, because the admin part, guys, golly, that's the worst part.
Admin is hectic.
Yeah.
But you've sort of got a less admin than usual. Because it's not like you're applying through a
Full startup, basically.
company.
Yeah.
So that makes it a bit easier, but it's a lot of admin.
No, your life's admin. We're talking about that as well. So packing up, it's basically packing up your life and then putting it in a bag or a few bags, and then also getting all the necessary stuff in place as well. For me, luckily, I'm moving into a place with someone who has everything. I basically just have to rock up. Make sure my clothes are there, buying like food for myself, which is not out of the usual for me, but kind of I make sure for the whole month, strict budget, strict food, everything, making my own food.
Let's ask you some questions about moving and moving out and moving in. And so, hi.
How's it?
Alright. Thanks. How do you feel?
Is that like the mic?
Are you off again?
I'm loving everything! Okay.
Wait. So, what led you to this decision to make that? Yeah.
This is when you reconstruct, that's it.
How did you get to this point in your life?
Look like my mic is off. Okay, it's on. No, I think obviously it's been coming. I think I've always had these ambitions and goal plans for myself as well. And the last year or two or so, I think just kind of emphasize that I need my own space. I need to make grown-up moves as well. Like I said, I'm very much under my mother's wing, whether I want to admit it or not. I'm the only son, and she kind of relies on me a lot as well. And I think that also hinders my own growth and my own plans, because I'm always keeping it safe, playing it safe kind of thing. And I think these are one of those steps I want to take to ensure that they see a grown person as well.
Okay.
Like, I'm still 1'7" in height, so I don't think they will see my big body as he's grown. This bite don't come for nothing, even this can't go out right. So I think this is one of the first steps I need to take in my life to show like I'm grown and also I can make positive decisions for me.
Okay. So that's good. It's a positive.
But why does it sound like it's wrong? Like, okay, it's good,
No.
but...
No, there's no but. I didn't but yet.
Okay.
But, so, moving out the house, you obviously had to plan financially for this. How do you think it's going to affect your spending? You won't be able to buy Guzmans anymore or for a while, or is that, how have you, has it made a big impact on your budget, or have you been able to play around and make it fit?
Look, it's the same like I think when you unexpectedly, it's not the same, I was trying to justify it like that. But the plan is always there obviously, and we all seek this ideal space where I'm going to earn so much money to make it in that space.
To
obviously.
launch your independence.
Yeah. But I think also what, when going through your process last year, obviously I know that you had to make cuts where you say, okay, it's not going to be like this, at least for the first couple of months.
Yeah.
I have to really adjust my budget. And I must say, this amount of money I'm going to put out on rent is not, it's extraordinary for me in terms of spending, but I must say I won't have that as feasible cash anymore. But did I actually use that money to grow my future? I must say no, even before my increase and stuff like that. And that's why I decided rather move out to make sure that the money I'm spending is something that's towards my development and my goals as well. And not to put it down on my parents and stuff like that, but I'm still going to obviously give them money and stuff. But it's just like, I couldn't see where my money was really going, because I had plans, but I was putting my plans back to ensure that I helped them and didn't show real value at the end of it. But also in the same sense as I've always budgeted, but like there's like really making moves and making. Unfortunately, we're not in a space where everything is handed to us. So there's going to be a time when I have to buy a house and I have to spend a lot of money. So constantly knowing that I'm already paying rent and stuff like that is one of the small steps. So
if you used to putting that money aside for that kind of thing.
Yeah, so and this was an easy move, I would say, in the sense that there's no startup. I don't have to buy toasters, I don't have to buy features, I don't have to do all those things. So it was a good fall in place type of thing. And obviously my earnings is now at a space where I can do it. It's not, I won't say I'm going to be poor, I'm not saying I'm going to be well off in terms of this next couple of months or so. But it's also to then know, listen, I might have to move my job or ask for more money, be proactive in what I deserve to earn and stuff like that because of my lifestyle. So in terms of that in the budget, is now trying to go optimal as possible, but also being very responsible. I think if you change certain words, obviously it is like I'm not going to suffer, because I mean a lot of people kind of do these things and they make it. So why am I holding back? Because I'm not at that space where my independence is X amount of worth. In terms of that, there's obviously drastic changes I have to make in terms of budget and sticking to it as well. And like I said, one of the key things for me is not to like go home and ask for I need money for food or unless it's absolutely necessary. But still being independent on my own to make sure that financially I'm good.
I feel like initially you'll find there's a lot of like tips and tricks that you'll learn as you start. Things that can go a long way. That you always have like food in the house sort of scenario. But yeah, once you're in it for like a few months, it'll be like second nature. Yeah. So it won't be a big problem. What are you looking forward to the most about it?
Like moving out. I think
besides the stuff that you're talking about already, like independence and all of that stuff, like what are you excited about the most?
I think the excitement the most is kind of like making this move in my life that I've always wanted to do. It's kind of like reaching a goal and like being like on top of that mountain and like, I'm here now. I think it's a zone of there's no distractions, I think, and also learning to be disciplined when I'm away from home type of thing, where I know my parents not going to see me, but I'm still living up to who I am type of thing, and also just to be like, do I call it normal for other young men and young women out there who's living on their own, making moves from Cape Town to Joburg or from Joburg to Durban, who actually just go through these things, and who's actually seen as you are standing on your own 2 feet type of thing. Because I think I didn't want to ever in my life kind of have a situation where when I get married and I move out. Because then your marriage can actually tumble because of that. You don't know what it's like to be outside of that space. And also it's a good space having a roommate at first, at least where I can, there is still someone, and also being, let's compromise to meet each other and make sure we're both still comfortable. But I think the biggest part is obviously that space where I don't have to, when I shut my door, I don't have to speak to my roommate or screw the wall type of thing.
So you got your own
I like this type of curtain hanging there, or I like this, it's my space. Like if I'm full of nonsense and I want to just chill, I don't have to explain myself, type of thing. So
you just be basically.
Basically just be. And also finding myself without a kind of limitation of having eyes on you constantly. Like if you come home, it's like, how was your day? And you don't want to talk about your day, or if you're stressing about why someone leave the cup here, and it's not all that stuff. It's kind of like I want to realize now, am I being unnecessary when I was at home and I was complaining about certain things, or the same thing, well, am I just a person who needs to be on my own type of thing. So you kind of do need to find yourself like that, and you basically have to do that outside of your comfort zone or what you know. I mean, it's like been 27 years, so that's all I've known, guys. Why did you choose to move out of the house? I mean, Larry's the only child, guys. I didn't know you want to tell you that, but I'm telling you. So for him, it's like chill. He's grown in his own right. How was like moving out for you? Knowing that you have a like relationship with your parents and stuff like that.
It's obviously it's like growing up as a guy. It's you constantly get into like conflicts with your dad, and
I think that's a big thing. Man.
That's like a normal thing with every man growing up. And even though you're not consciously trying to assert like your dominance it's like natural that they'll feel threatened by you.
Yeah.
And that causes conflict sometimes. But yeah, I think the biggest thing was just independence, getting my own space. Yeah, it's something I wanted to do for a very long time, but I went through a lot of trials and tribulations in my life, and
you've been living, bro.
So that set me back quite a few years. I mean, Ian's doing it now when he's 27. I only did like last year when I was 32, and I know I don't look 32. So
Storm is alright,
Storm, just checking up on Storm. So yeah, it was a big move for me. Also, I guess being the only child, almost like your parents or your mom more specifically, like doesn't really want you to leave, but they understand why you need to do it. But yeah, once I decided and once I planned it, they were really supportive. Everyone in my life was supportive, really. And so yeah, that was my main reasons.
Okay. And your startup, obviously, like we explained, you went through the whole startup. I mean, ladies buying plants now, guys. You can see, you saw it last week, eh? There's some plants, there's even more in the bottom as well. So, and this plant collection is actually growing. But like in terms of, I think the one proud thing I must say out of Lady, and what I have to say with a lot of guys who do this on their own, you didn't do this to move in with this girlfriend. Or
yeah, that was a big thing.
Let us do it together.
That was a big thing I never wanted to do.
I think that also inspired me actually, because I didn't look for excuse to move.
Not that I have a girlfriend anymore, but
okay, let's not.
At the time,
we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
We'll
get to that. So
at the time,
I think a lot of people do the move when they feel they have a girlfriend, and then it's now time for us to do stuff like that, or they get married. Nothing wrong with that, I think, but essentially it's almost like you kind of have a pedestal, or you have a leg that you use as your support. Whereas when you do it on your own, it's kind of like, this is my move, this is my decision type of thing. And at the time we did have a girlfriend, and one of my key questions was to him, like, will she move in with you now and stuff like that. So he was like, nope, no way, not now, that's maybe in the future if we have a long-term relationship. But for me it was just like, it was his independence, and I think that also, his reasoning at the time and stuff like that also influenced me as well. So I think that was the key things.
The biggest thing that I've thought about in the past was, yeah, it's going to be easier budget-wise to move out with your significant other. But when things go sour, if things go sour, where does that leave you? You can't afford, you know, if you've gotten to a point where you've been able to afford it, sharing with someone, and now you can't afford that anymore, what does that mean? You need to move back home. So I think I never wanted to be in a position where I would move out and then have to move back, because
financially can't stand on it.
Yeah, because then what's the point?
So on that note of relationship with the parents as well?
Yeah, relationship with my parents got better. I think because, I mean, I'm the only kid, so I guess they always sort of saw me as a child, even though I've been growing up for a long time. It's like you never actually see your child grow up or be independent while they're still at home, sort of thing. So I think that was a big positive factor in my relationship with them. And yeah, I'd say my relationship with my parents is now more mature than it used to be.
I think one of the key things I'm also looking forward to is gaining a better respect from my parents, and also building our relationships. Because I tried to speak to my mother about that the other day, because days preceding or post me telling them I'm going to move out, they were very understanding. But I wanted to kind of give them a reason as to why I want to do it. But then they were not having it. And then, sorry, keep it don't.
Not sorry. Hashtag.
God damn it.
Sorry,
you console me. So yeah, I think one of the key things is I wanted to tell them as to why I want this move for myself. So we only stopped on one reason. But now days after it's kind of like, even there's something new pops up as to, and if I say something, yeah, why are you moving? You can't afford to move out there, stuff like that. But essentially, again, they just want to feel like they're still providing for you, and they're always there for you type of thing. And for me, it's like I want to gain that respect more. I also want to build that relationship more when we can actually speak about grown-up stuff and not just limit me at the level when I have to say something or stuff like that. So and the one obviously change where you're like, yeah, mommy, I should know a cigarette before mommy and off.
Thing like with that big machine you
Yeah.
have there. What's that machine? When people see you vaping, they're like, you know, that puts water on your lungs.
Are you a doctor?
Flip
Are you
these
my
people.
lungs? Huh? Are you inside my body?
And then they smoking like a pack a day.
They smell like nicotine. Anyway.
Not like nicotine, like cigarettes.
Yeah, it's a liquor.
Oh, Rothmans, that Rothman smell. Inches. Nasty.
Yeah, so
Can't stand it.
yeah.
It's so bad.
Okay, stop.
Sorry.
So just come out of the air bubble. So yeah.
That's why I can never, what? I can never date someone that smokes like I have before. It wasn't such a big deal at first,
But it gets you, man.
but then yeah, through time it's like,
So yeah. So one of the other thing is also like my parents obviously smoke. My parents smoke. Yeah.
I didn't know.
Okay. But anyway, so for me it's always I vote, but obviously like I'm undercover and stuff like that. But it's their house. I can't tell someone not to smoke in the house. Like stuff like that started to annoy me. You know what I'm saying? And like if I'm now in a bitter mood, like it was a long day and get home and I'm grumpy and stuff like that, then it will be a big issue. And stuff like that creates fights, small fights. And if I like tell my father, like, why you do this? I want to do it like that. It's like, yeah, but you don't tell me, stuff like that. And again, like you said, that like machoism that's like twee bulle kan in een kraal wees is, and that Afrikaans saying. And it just gets to a point like that. And for me, before that election deteriorated completely, it's kind of like, maybe I'm a full of shit person, maybe I'm not understanding anymore. So those are big reasons as well. Then let's move on to financials. Now that you're on your own and stuff like that, you've gotten your groove, I must say, obviously. But how has that change been since moving into the house, obviously?
I think my like growing up, I always had a fantasy of one day budgeting. I never used to budget, but when like the few months before I made the decision, I started budgeting, because you have to like take an honest look at your situation and see whether you can afford this, and yeah, once I saw that it is possible and I'll have to cut a few things out, yeah, then it was just making the decision and doing it, and continually budgeting.
Being disciplined.
I think that's the biggest thing, is like understanding how much you could spend on certain things, and things like entertainment costs, like eating out and buying things, and those kind of things need to chill for like a while when you move out, unless you've got a really good budget. But then why not spend that extra money on getting a better place, sort of thing. So you've got to look at all those factors, like when you do move out, it's like, is the place I'm going, like, you don't want to move out of the house into like a worse place than you are currently at. So that's also a thing you got to think about, like affording something that's decent for you, that you like, and then still being able to live. Obviously you need to eat, so, and you'll notice very quickly that sometimes the amounts you set out for certain things are too little, or they're too much on other things, and then you can just adjust as you go along. So yeah, so it was a bit, wasn't tough.
It was a challenge.
It was a challenge at first, but once you get into the swing of things, it's like normal.
Like that second nature. So I think that obviously is going to be a big learning curve, obviously. I've always budgeted, but in the same sense, like I said, entertainment is a big thing. Like, I don't know why people never, unless they live on their own, obviously, budget entertainment.
Sure, it's huge.
Entertainment and
It's
always
a huge budget.
when you at home or you're comfortably, you pay your mother X amount of money, you buy a small gift along the way. But your entertainment budget is almost like unlimited. It's like,
It's
I
crazy.
want to buy this, I want to buy that. If Larry phones me, let's go watch a movie and have some lunch. You're not gonna care about spending like 200 rand per plate. It's like, there's no limit on entertainment. If the next 2 days from there you say, let's go do this, we're gonna do it. And I think now obviously that's gonna be a big adjustment and just curving, and people's not gonna understand obviously outside of the realm. It's like, doesn't love your reality. So I think being disciplined, but again it comes back to obviously gymming and stuff like that. You know, to grow, you have to be consistent, you have to discipline yourself, and all of this stuff play a factor. So now it's obviously I can walk to work, gym I can walk to as well, not in the winters, it'll be cold, I'm drive. But more stuff like, okay, if I can do it, make a saving, go buy in bulk. If I can do this, that's the type of thing. And when you're on your own and you have to shop for yourself, these are the type of things you look at. Prior to this, you could easily just say, I want that, and I want to buy to the woods.
But you also need to be careful of buying in bulk and stuff expiring.
Yeah.
Because you don't use as much of, let's say you buy something for the home, like
Yeah.
when you're living with your family, it will be used up way quicker than if you just use the thing.
That's the thing.
So that's also something like initially a lot of stuff will go off in your
Yeah.
fridge and go off in your cupboards and you won't be able to use, so you end up wasting a little bit of money, but through that you learn also, I don't need to buy a big thing of, a big tub of mayo for example, or a big canister of coffee. So you just buy for what you need and then you see how it works for you and then you can adjust from there.
Yeah. So now those are things, but like I think these are key things, and obviously you can read up a lot of those things as well. Because the goal is obviously, guys, if you move, like Larry said, you don't want to move to a worse off place, because then you just cutting your nose to spite your face basically. So not moving to a much nicer place. Larry's in a much nicer area and has a proper flat. Moving on to on your own now, the last year or so. It's almost a year, right? Not even a year.
Almost a year, yeah.
How much about yourself have you learned, and also what exciting things happen like when you're on your own? Or even not exciting that you're just happy about that you made a move to be on your own?
What have I learned? Probably learned that I'm responsible for everything that happens. And I used to consult my parents with like a lot of things, important things, obviously not everything, because otherwise you need to make some decisions that they don't know about. But
Okay. Let's just move on from
but
that.
yeah, you realize that if you don't move this thing from here, or you don't clean this thing, no one's gonna clean it after you. And it's not, and it's weird because I didn't live by that philosophy at home where like my mom will just clean stuff, but it's just that a lot of the time you won't necessarily clean things up.
Yeah, correctly.
Not correctly, but like you just won't do it.
Yeah.
And you'll be like, I'll just leave it there and see what happens to it. That's the sort of thing you think about. And then when you're here on your own, and you leave the stuff and you leave things lying there and whatever, and no one's gonna clean it.
It's just gonna lay there.
It's gonna lay there.
Dust, and then you're gonna be like, oh, what's that?
Yeah.
But then you realize you're the only person here. So
that's a huge thing, and it's a big positive thing because you have to consider things.
Yeah.
You can't just do things.
What's nice or lekker about being on your own?
It's just the ability or the fact of the matter that you own your space. You own it and it's yours. You make the decisions. No one makes the decisions for you, and no one's going to remind you of things to do certain things like take out the dirt, clean the dishes. You got to do it yourself. Otherwise, you live in a pigsty. And that's nasty.
Yo.
And some people,
That's nasty.
one thing I've noticed is some people are okay with
Dirt.
living in a dirty place and not cleaning often. Like the motto I live by, that I try and live by, I don't always succeed with it, but 90% of the time I think.
79.
Or not. I try and keep maintain the level of like cleanliness and neatness and I think that's easier to do than to clean like once a week or once a month or annually. So that for me is like the easiest trick in the book.
Why's my eye?
Maintain. Once again, maintain.
The purpose is to maintain
The peppers.
Yeah, so yeah, I think that's also a big part. Obviously, when I
Big fart.
part,
You said fart now.
I said part, you can just comment one if you heard me say part, comment two if you heard me say fart.
Google.
Not now, but the previous segment. So,
See.
yeah, we didn't once say today. Then we're pep.
And pepper.
Yeah, so I think obviously for me, moving in with someone, that was also a big factor. And I think I was chosen because of my neatness and also my childness, I think, because we'll be moving, he works in Joburg like twice a month and stuff like that. And the big thing for him is he has quality, bought a lot of stuff and doesn't want someone to mess it up. And he's very neat as well, so that also pushes me to be neat as well. And the same when I come to Daddy's house, obviously it's always neat here as well. So I'm not going to be like, just because I'm coming to him after fucking being Mosach or... Did I swear? I swore for the first time in the vlog! Shit! My fucking doofy, so what?
It's jumping hard there.
So, Storm was really right!
Storms.
So, I think that's also, again, it speaks to a lot of stuff. Yeah, I just start laughing over some more, man. Screw this. Okay.
Serious.
Yeah, so that was our segment on moving out, and obviously we'll have a follow-up once I'm on my own, like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
or
we need
something.
to. Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah, and we'll have one vlog in my, few vlogs in my place as well, and then we'll alternate at least I'll have different scenery. Yeah, so
Probably got to bring Stormy with.
yeah, Stormy must be
Or
in
maybe we just take a picture of Stormy and then put it there on the phone in the background. print a Stormy for us on an A1. This is like an A1, right?
Should be.
Smell. Smells like an
It
A1.
smells like A1. So yeah, so that is Dots. It's gonna be nice, man. It's gonna be exciting. It's good times waiting for what?
Episode 4.
EP4, guys. And the thing, we just started, we just did it. We had a plan, we just did it, we actioned it. And now in EP4, segment 5.
We so yeah, we will
Wow, we peeping like
upside down boys. So we want to hopefully bring you some different type of content. Something I'm gonna plan some stuff in the works and some stuff.
guys.
So yeah,
That's
we're
this
gonna-
week.
we're gonna
Thank
bring
you.
some fresh stuff soon. I'm working on some stuff in the back end.
Wow.
So yeah, we'll bring you some fresh stuff soon. But yeah, this has been EP4.
4, Lemon Pip. We're constantly moving. We are building up our volume 1 EP. Then volume 2,
Segment.
hopefully we'll have some
Segment.
sponsors, better equipment, everything. I think we'll reach volume 6 before we get to all that stuff, but that's fine because we're kind of keeping the momentum going by
That's the
delivering
thing.
weekly.
Consistency.
It spills over all of your life, guys. I mean, we can't just be consistent in gym and in the rest of your life you're like. So yeah, and comment for anything you want us to speak about as well. We'll definitely push on that and get their own work now.
The bigger ones.
Okay, so nice seeing you guys again. Thank you for having us. Love our faces.
Nice seeing you guys again.
Yeah. We said last week it's more interpersonal. Like you have to like know what to say to the people, bro. If we did not speak about moving today, it would have been about Yay is in the building, but we don't want to speak about that people and those things. So yeah.
Lemon pepper.
Yeah. Lemon pep. Out.